Have you ever wondered why life feels like a circle? Why we seem to repeat the same stories, meet the same souls in different faces, and fight the same battles again and again? In the ancient wisdom of India, this circle has a name. It is called samsara, the wheel of birth and death, of joy and sorrow, of longing and loss. It is not punishment. It is experience. It is the great classroom of the soul. Imagine a wheel turning endlessly under a boundless sky. Each spoke of the wheel is a life, each rotation a journey from birth to death, and then again to birth. The soul rides this wheel, wearing 1,000 forms, learning through the touch of joy and the sting of pain. Samsara begins not with life, but with desire. The desire to exist, to love, to create, to know, to own, to become. And in that desire, as subtle as a whisper, lies the seed of bondage. A thought becomes an action becomes a habit becomes destiny, and thus the wheel turns. The scriptures say, as the rain returns to the sea, so do souls return to the world. Every birth is a continuation, not a beginning. Every death is a doorway, not an end. You might wonder, Dai, if this cycle is endless, where is freedom? The answer is hidden within awareness itself. For samsara exists only as long as the dreamer forgets he is dreaming. Picture yourself standing by a river. You see leaves drifting by, each one a memory, a hope, a fear. You reach out to grasp them, but the current carries them away. That current is samsara, the grasping, that is desire. As long as we identify with the leaf, we are carried away by the stream. But when we realize we are the river itself, vast, flowing, eternal, the illusion breaks. The river was never binding us, it was guiding us. Every being, from the smallest insect to the mightiest sage, moves through samsara according to karma, the law of cause and effect. What we sow, we reap. What we give, returns. The universe remembers everything. But this is not punishment. It is harmony. Every experience, every pain, every joy is an echo of something the soul must understand. Some are born into light, others into shadow, but both are steps toward the same awakening. Even suffering, when understood, becomes a teacher. Even attachment, when exhausted, becomes freedom. And yet, the wheel is mesmerizing. Its beauty is intoxicating. The laughter of a child, the warmth of love, the fragrance of rain. The soul, enchanted, forgets that it came to learn, not to linger. So the wise call this world Maya, the great illusion, a play of forms that seems real, but dissolves like mist in the morning sun. The body changes, the names change, the roles change, but the witness remains the same. You are not the actor. You are the light behind the stage. And yet, most lie asleep within the play. They chase shadows, fear endings, cling to beginnings. They call it life, and it is beautiful, but it is not the whole truth. Once in a while, a soul remembers. It pauses and asks, who am I? Not as philosophy, but as a silent cry from the heart. And in that moment, the wheel slows. Awakening begins with wonder, with the whisper that says, there must be more than this. That whisper is grace. It is the beginning of the path to moksha, the liberation from the cycle. But we are not yet there. First, we must understand karma, the law that moves the wheel. Karma is not fate. It is freedom disguised as responsibility. It is the universe saying, you are the author of your story. In the next part of this journey, we will look at how karma weaves the web of samsara, and how through awareness, compassion, and surrender, the soul can step out of the circle and into the infinite. The wheel of samsara keeps turning, and what gives it motion is karma, the unseen law that binds action to consequence, intention to result, thought to destiny. Karma is not punishment, it is the rhythm of the universe, the perfect echo of every movement of the soul. As a seed becomes a tree and a tree gives fruit, so every thought bears its own harvest. What we think, we become. What we give, we receive. What we resist, persists, until it is understood. Most people fear karma, as if it were some cosmic judge keeping score. But the sages saw it differently. They said karma is teaching, not torment. It is the most compassionate law in existence, for it gives every soul the chance to learn, to grow, to balance what has been unbalanced. Imagine life as a vast mirror. Whatever you send into it, kindness or cruelty, truth or deceit, returns to you in time, not to hurt you, but to show you your reflection, so that you may recognize yourself. The wise do not run from karma, they study it, like a traveler reading the stars. They learn its patterns, and through that knowledge, they learn peace. But how can we be free if every action creates another reaction? How can we escape a chain that has no beginning? The answer lies not in action, but in awareness. When the mind acts with desire, wanting, grasping, fearing, the chain continues. When the same action is done without attachment, the link is broken. The Gita says, "He who acts without desire for the fruit of his work is untouched by karma, as the lotus by water." So the key is not to stop acting, but to stop identifying. To move through life as an instrument of the divine, not as the doer. When the I dissolves, the burden of karma dissolves with it. That is the beginning of moksha, liberation. Moksha is not a place. It is not even a reward. It is the awakening of the soul to its true nature, beyond form, beyond birth, beyond time. The word itself means release, the untying of the knots that bind the spirit to illusion. It is the freedom that comes when we remember who we are, not the body, not the mind, not even the story, but the consciousness that witnesses all. Imagine a drop of water realizing it was never separate from the ocean. That is moksha. Imagine a dreamer realizing he was never the dream. That is moksha. In that awakening, karma loses its hold, for the one who awakens no longer creates waves of action and reaction. He becomes still, vast, luminous, like the depths of a quiet sea. But reaching this stillness is not a flight from life, it is a deeper participation in it. The liberated soul does not escape the world. He moves through it with love, without being touched by it. He acts, but without ego. He feels, but without attachment. He lives, but as one who has already transcended death. In the Indian tradition, 4 great paths are said to lead toward this liberation, each suited to the temperament of the seeker. Karma Yoga, the path of selfless action, doing one's duty without desire for reward. Bhakti Yoga, the path of devotion, surrendering all to the divine in love. Jnana Yoga, the path of knowledge, piercing the veil of illusion with the sword of wisdom. And Raja Yoga, the royal path of meditation, turning inward to still the mind and realize the self. All roads lead to the same summit, the realization that I and the infinite are one. When that dawns, the game of samsara ends, like a dream dissolving at sunrise. The soul, freed from all compulsion to return, rests in pure being, not as something gained, but as something remembered. And yet, many enlightened souls return again, not by karma, but by compassion. They choose to be born once more, not to learn, but to serve. They come as teachers, healers, lovers of humanity, lighting the path for others still wandering in the dream. This is the paradox of moksha, freedom that returns to serve bondage, stillness that moves in compassion, emptiness that overflows with love. Sit quietly now and imagine the turning of that great cosmic wheel. See lifetimes like petals unfolding in an eternal flower, some bright, some shadowed, all fragrant with experience. And at the center of the flower, the still heart, untouched, unmoving, eternal. That is you. You have never been bound, except by your own forgetting. You have never been lost, except in your own story. You have never truly died, nor truly been born. You are the witness, pure awareness, infinite, whole. Samsara is your dream. Karma is your lesson. Moksha is your awakening. Close your eyes, breathe deeply. Feel the rhythm of your breath, the rise and fall, the birth and death, the in and out. That is the miniature wheel of samsara, turning in your chest. Now pause between the breaths. In that stillness, nothing moves. No karma, no time, no desire. Only awareness. Vast, luminous, free. That pause is moksha. It has always been there. It only waits for your recognition. So live your life fully, love deeply, act rightly, and when you have learned all that the world can teach, step gently into the silence that was always watching. That silence is home. That is liberation.
That is who you truly are.